As you know, I'm releasing this book later this year, Digital Dharma, How AI Can Elevate Spiritual Intelligence and Personal Well-Being. At the bottom, you might see an endorsement by Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. Okay, so today I want to share with you something very interesting, and it is actually how I use AI to clarify some ideas. You have to remember that AI is a large language model, and mostly all it does is give you the prevailing opinion on any subject. It gives you facts that have been published, it gives you different perspectives. But if you want to use AI smartly, then you have to question some of the opinions as well, because they're opinions and perspectives that have some legitimacy, but always should be questioned. So, in a previous video, I actually went through some very interesting exercises with you on imagination. I asked you to imagine this, that, and the other, hear the sound of a newborn baby crying in your imagination, or a dog barking, or see an image like the Empire State Building or snow-clad mountains. And it was very easy to do all of that, right? There was no problem doing that. And that was an exercise in imagination. So today I went on AI and asked the following questions, and I got the following answers, but I'll share with you where I agree and where I don't agree. So I asked the question, is there any biological basis for imagination? Okay, is there any biological basis for imagination? And here's the answer I got, and I'll tell you what I object in that answer as well. So the answer is as follows. There's strong evidence for a biological basis of imagination. While scientists are still actively researching the complete picture, here's what we know. Brain networks involved. Hippocampus, traditionally known for memory, the hippocampus is vital for creating new experiences in our mind, even those not based on reality. It helps us recombine elements of memories and knowledge into novel scenarios. That's point number one. Point number two, default mode network. This network becomes active when we are not focused on the external world. It's involved in self-referential thought, daydreaming, and envisioning the future. Frontoparietal control network. This network helps control and direct our thoughts, playing a role in the deliberate conscious use of imagination. Neuroimaging studies. So, neuroimaging studies show these networks working together, entanglement, working together, suggesting they're drawing upon the past to construct new and novel scenarios. Studies reveal coordination between default mode network and frontoparietal control network, implying imagination involves both spontaneous, free-flowing thought and deliberate control. Okay, so far so good, but that doesn't actually prove that there's a biological basis for consciousness. All that shows is that there are neural correlates when you imagine. I ask you to imagine, and brain goes into activity correlating past memories, beliefs, models, constructs, ideas into a response. So the brain correlates of imagination are not the biological basis of imagination. They're simply the correlates. So then I said, is this connected to the hard problem of consciousness? It says researchers can increasingly break down the process of imagination. Okay, it said that. And then I said neuroscience has made remarkable studies in mapping brain activity and correlating it with our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. But isn't there an explanatory gap? We can't seem to reduce the feeling what it is like to be conscious. The redness of red, the pain of pain, the subjective experience itself. We can't seem to reduce those feelings to mere firings of neurons or physical processes. So we can't. That's called the hard problem. And the hard problem exists because we believe that matter is the ontological foundation. So even though all these neural activities are happening, they don't explain the subjective experience that you start with. You have the intention to imagine whatever, the Empire State Building. Then the neural landscape responds. So I said, because matter is considered the foundation, we have a problem. So I asked AI to respond to that. Materialism, physicalism. The dominant view in modern science is that matter is the fundamental building block of reality. From this perspective, consciousness arises from complex arrangements of matter, likely within the brain, but cannot explain that, right? Likely, because we believe matter is the ontological primitive. So then I said, can we challenge the whole idea of materialism? If everything is ultimately physical, how do you explain the non-physical nature of subjective experience? Can non-dual Eastern philosophies give us a solution? So then this is the response I got. Non-dual philosophies found in various Eastern traditions provide a radically different answer. Consciousness as fundamental. In these traditions, consciousness might be the ontological primitive, meaning it's the foundational basis of reality. Matter from this perspective may be an appearance or expression within consciousness. As you point out, saying to me, matter itself could be seen as a human construct, a way for our minds to make sense of the world around us within the framework of our sensory and cognitive apparatus. Philosophical implications. This debate has significant consequences. Number one, the nature of reality. If matter is primary, then consciousness is an emergent property arising out of complexity, even though we can't explain it. If consciousness is primary, the world we perceive may be a manifestation of a deeper, more fundamental consciousness. Two, the problem of subjectivity. How do we reconcile the irreducible subjective nature of consciousness within a purely materialist framework? Number three, science and spirituality. Can these differing perspectives find common ground? Some proponents of panpsychism, I disagree with panpsychism, the idea that consciousness is fundamental property of the universe. I do say it's a fundamental property, but I disagree with panpsychism, which assumes the existence of matter. Might suggest a bridge, but this remains a subject of intense debate. Where do we stand? There's no easy answer to your question. The assumption of matter as the foundation of reality is deeply embedded within our scientific worldview, but many questions remain unanswered. Non-dual traditions offer a vastly different perspective that complicate our understanding of the relationship between consciousness and the material world. So that's us as far as we got. Okay, now let's explore this a little deeper. Okay, let's say that there is only one reality, and that is consciousness. And it's a field. It's a field without any borders. It's eternal, it's fundamental, it's irreducible, it's spaceless, it's timeless, it's unimaginable, but without it, there's no experience. So that's the consciousness field. So what is the brain? The brain is the most complex expression of the field of awareness in the known universe. I say in the known universe to humans because who knows? There are so many realities out there, and we are a speck of dust in a mindless void somewhere in the junkyard of infinity. But in the known universe, the human brain is the most complex field of awareness. What is it made of? It is made of awareness modifying itself as brain, where brain and mind are complementarities. So this thing here, this 3 pound piece of meat, as it has been referred to, is actually a field of awareness, and a very complex field of awareness, because it allows us to execute intention, intuition, imagination, desire, insight, access to higher consciousness, and even transcendence. So what is this? It's the field of awareness, and it's an extraordinary field of awareness. And who are you? You are the same field of awareness, but you're also the knower of the field of awareness. So are you the brain? Yes, the brain is a modified form of you, but you also are the knower and the user of the brain. Okay. And people say, oh, what about Alzheimer's, this, that, the other? You say, well, the fault of the instrument is not a reflection on the user of the instrument. So who or what is the brain? The brain is the most sophisticated, the human brain, but all brains, actually, all species have extraordinary brains that gives them access to other realities. Let's say the brain is a field of awareness, and you are both the field and the user and the knower of that field of awareness. Does it make sense? If so, let me know. And why is that important? Well, because the field itself is eternal and not subject to birth and death. And if you are that field, then you are eternal and not subject to birth and death. And you keep refining the ways you use the field and the knowing elements of that field that you have access to. I am the field, and I'm the knower of the field. Chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita. This field includes the brain. The brain itself is an experience. The neural correlates of the brain are also experiences in the field. Okay, let me know if this is useful, and I'll continue sharing.